The alarm blared across Space Command headquarters, causing everyone to freeze. For 5 years, no one had heard that particular tone, the long-lost ship alert. Commander Lisa Wilson dropped her coffee mug, it shattered on the floor, but she didn't notice. "Sir," a young officer called out, his voice shaking, "we have an unidentified object entering the solar system. It's moving at impossible speeds." Lisa rushed to the main screen, her heart racing. The object was coming from deep space, following no known path, its speed made no sense. Nothing human-made could move that fast. "Get me visual," she ordered, her voice steady despite her racing thoughts. When the image appeared on screen, the entire room fell silent. The ship's outline was unmistakable despite some strange modifications. The name painted on its side confirmed what Lisa already knew in her heart, Horizon. 15 years ago, the Horizon had set out on humanity's most ambitious journey, the first crewed mission to Proxima Centauri. Lisa had been meant to be on that ship as second officer, but a last-minute injury had kept her groundside. She had watched as her friends and colleagues, 120 of Earth's best and brightest, disappeared into the darkness of space. After 3 years without contact, Earth had declared them lost. Now, somehow, the ship was back. "Send out the hail on all frequencies," Lisa ordered. "Get me Captain Miller." Minutes passed with no response. The Horizon continued its approach, slowing as it neared Mars' orbit. Its movement was strangely smooth, too precise, and the energy readings made no sense at all. "Ma'am," said the communications officer, still no response to hails. Admiral Thomas entered the command center, his face grim. "Commander Wilson, I need your expertise on this. You knew that ship and crew better than anyone." Lisa nodded. "Sir, that ship is using technology we don't have. The way it's moving, it's not our engines, and those structures along the hull weren't there when it left Earth." The Admiral studied the screen. "Could it be aliens using our ship as cover?" "Possible," Lisa replied, "but why return to Earth? Why not come openly?" Lisa shook her head. "We need to get on board." "Agreed," Thomas said. "I'm putting you in charge of the boarding team. Take whatever you need." 6 hours later, Lisa sat in full space gear aboard an interceptor ship. With her were 8 Special Forces soldiers and 2 engineers. As they approached the Horizon, Lisa could see the changes up close, strange metal formations wrapped around the original hull like vines, pulsing with soft blue light. The main engines were gone, replaced by something that looked more like crystal than metal. "This doesn't look human-made," whispered Jones, one of the engineers. "Stay focused," Lisa replied. "We don't know what we're walking into." Docking proved easier than expected. The Horizon's airlock opened for them without command, as if expecting visitors. The team entered with weapons ready, moving in practiced formation through the familiar yet changed corridors. Inside, the ship was eerily silent. Where there should have been the hum of engines and life support, there was nothing but a faint musical tone at the edge of hearing. The lighting was different, too, softer, coming from the walls themselves rather than fixtures. "Life signs?" Lisa asked through her helmet comm. "One reading, ma'am," replied Garcia, checking his scanner. "Forward section, near the bridge." They moved carefully toward the bridge, passing empty crew quarters and workstations. Everything was neat, as if the crew had just stepped away for a moment, but a fine layer of dust covered everything, telling a different story. When they reached the bridge, the door slid open silently. Inside, a single figure sat in the captain's chair, back to them, looking out at the stars through the main viewport. "Weapons up, hands where we can see them," ordered the team leader, raising his gun. The chair turned. The man sitting there wore a standard Earthfleet uniform, though it seemed newer than it should be after 15 years in space. He appeared to be in his mid-40s, with dark hair going gray at the temples. His face broke into a tired smile when he saw Lisa. "Commander Wilson," he said quietly. "I knew they'd send you." Lisa's breath caught in her throat. Marcus. Chief Engineer Davis. Marcus Davis nodded. It's good to see a familiar face. Where is everyone else? Where's Captain Miller? Lisa demanded, stepping forward. Marcus's smile faded. Gone. All gone. I'm the only one left. The team swept the rest of the ship, confirming Marcus's claim. The horizon was empty of all other crew members. Even stranger was Marcus himself. He looked exactly as Lisa remembered him. 15 years had passed on Earth, but Marcus Davis didn't seem to have aged more than a few months. Back at Space Command, Marcus sat in an isolation room sipping water while doctors ran tests. Through the observation window, Lisa watched with Admiral Thomas at her side. His physical condition is perfect, said the chief medical officer. Too perfect, actually. His cellular age matches his chronological age from when the ship left Earth. It's as if time barely passed for him. What about the ship? Asked the Admiral. The chief engineer stepped forward with a tablet. Sir, we can't make sense of half the systems on board. The original engines are gone, replaced by unknown technology. The power source alone is generating energy in ways we can't explain. Lisa turned to the Admiral. He's asking to speak with me. Thomas nodded. Find out what happened out there, Commander. Where are the rest of the crew, and most importantly, what did they bring back with them? Lisa entered the isolation room and sat across from Marcus. Up close, she could see that while his body might not have aged, his eyes told a different story. They were older, haunted. You look good, Lisa, Marcus said. Made Commander, I see. 15 years is a long time, she replied. What happened out there, Marcus? Where is everyone? Marcus set down his water cup, his hands perfectly steady. You wouldn't believe me if I told you. Try me. He leaned forward. From our perspective, we've only been gone about 6 months. That's impossible, even at near light speeds. We went way beyond light speed, Marcus interrupted. Far beyond. We found something out there, Lisa, something that changed everything. What did you find? Marcus smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. We weren't the first to reach Proxima. Someone, something, was already there, dying. Their civilization was ending, and they needed someone to carry on their legacy. Aliens? Lisa whispered, disbelief and wonder mixing in her voice. They called themselves the Architects, Marcus nodded. And they gave us everything, the knowledge of 1,000,000 years of science and discovery. Lisa's breath caught. And the rest of the crew? Marcus's face darkened. They paid the price for that knowledge. I'm the only one who made it back. He reached across the table, suddenly grabbing Lisa's hand. But I didn't come back empty-handed. What's on that ship will change humanity forever. Lisa pulled her hand away, unsettled. You need to rest. We'll talk more tomorrow. As she turned to leave, Marcus called after her, They're coming, Lisa. The Architects sent us back because they knew they're coming, and what I brought back is the only thing that can save Earth. Lisa paused at the door. Who's coming? Marcus's smile returned, cryptic and cold. Tomorrow. I'll tell you everything tomorrow. But you should get your best scientists working on that ship right away. We don't have much time. Morning came but Lisa had barely slept. The return of the horizon, and Marcus's cryptic warning, kept her mind racing all night. When she arrived at the secure facility where both Marcus and the ship were held, she found a flurry of activity. Commander, a young scientist called out, you need to see this. He led her to a workstation where a small device from the horizon sat inside a clear box. It was about the size of a tennis ball, metallic, with strange symbols etched into its surface. As Lisa watched, it floated in midair, spinning slowly. No power source we can detect, no magnets, the scientist explained. It just ignores gravity. Any idea what it does? Lisa asked. None. We found dozens of objects like this all over the ship, some kind of technology we've never seen before. Admiral Thomas walked in, looking like he hadn't slept either. Commander Wilson, our guest is awake and asking for you. Lisa nodded. What do the medical tests show? Nothing unusual, the Admiral said. Except his age. Physically, he's exactly as he was when the Horizon left Earth, right down to a filling he got 2 weeks before launch. His DNA matches our records, it's definitely Marcus Davis. But his brain scans show unusual activity patterns our doctors have never seen before. They want more tests, but he's refusing until he talks to you. Lisa found Marcus sitting on the edge of his bed in the medical wing, looking out the window at the horizon, visible in the distance. Beautiful morning, Marcus said without turning around. I forgot how blue Earth's sky is. You promised to tell me everything, Lisa said, sitting in the chair opposite him. Marcus turned to face her. Yes, but first, has anyone tried to activate the ship's main computer? No protocol for unknown tech, Lisa replied. Good, Marcus interrupted. Don't, until I can supervise. He took a deep breath. Now, where should I start? Day 2 dawned with an uneasy calm. By 0600 hours, Lisa was already in Lab 7, reviewing overnight data. The floating devices continued their silent orbit within their containment fields, their alien symbols faintly glowing in the sterile light. Each object surpassed humanity's understanding, some defied gravity, others emitted low hums at intervals like an unknown heartbeat. At 0700, Marcus joined her, escorted by 2 guards who lingered respectfully at the door. His uniform was freshly pressed, but his eyes bore the weight of a prophet. Have you considered my request? He asked, voice steady. Lisa turned from the scan readouts. You want to supervise every activation. I understand, but we need progress, Marcus. The harvesters may arrive in months, days, perhaps hours. He nodded. I know. Let me show you something. He led her past the rows of distressed researchers to a secure chamber where a deactivated engine core lay, a crystalline structure the size of a truck engine. Panels of alien script adorned its facets. This, Marcus said, placing his hand on the smooth surface, is the heart of the Horizon's new drive. It folds space. Without it, our defense is useless. Lisa exhaled. Can you teach someone to replicate it? His eyes flickered. What I can do is integrate you with its principles. But the mind resists. Someone has to become a host. He glanced at Lisa, then at the assembled scientists. I propose a small team, 2 engineers and 1 volunteer. I'll guide them through the process. Before she could respond, the facility's alert klaxon wailed. The comms officer's voice crackled, Commander Wilson, you'd better see this. They hurried to the observation deck. On the lower hangar floor, the horizon pulsed brighter than ever. Outside in Earth orbit, as Marcus had predicted, another object emerged, the first Harvester scout ship. It glowed red-black against the void, its tentacled silhouette vast and menacing. Lisa's stomach tightened. They're here. Below, the hangar's doors slid shut, sealing the horizon within. The alien scout hovered silently above Earth's night side, and its sensor beams swept the planet like a searching eye. Communications channels lit up worldwide with frantic chatter and unverified footage. Marcus placed a hand on Lisa's shoulder. This is why I came back. We have one chance to show them humanity is worthy. Back in the command center, Admiral Thomas assembled the crisis team. Military leaders, top scientists, and intelligence directors crowded around a hollow projection of the harvester ship. Options? The Admiral demanded. Dr. Reed, bleary-eyed, spoke first. Our missiles are ineffective. Their hull seems immune to kinetic and energy weapons. But we've detected fluctuations in the ship's spatial field, frequencies that, when matched, can destabilize localized reality. We believe the Horizon's drive can generate those frequencies. Lisa stepped forward. Marcus, can you demonstrate a miniature spatial pulse? He hesitated only a moment before nodding. Scientists hurried to position a test emitter in the center of the deck. Marcus placed his hands on two control panels, eyes closing as he accessed the alien drive subroutines etched into his mind. A soft hum rose, then a ripple of blue-white light pulsed outward. The heavy, reinforced walls of the facility seemed to flex and warp for an instant. Instruments went haywire, then settled. Where the pulse had passed, microscopic cracks appeared in the concrete floor. The room was silent, until the Admiral's astonished whisper, "It worked." Lisa met Marcus's gaze. "Prepare the Horizon. We'll need a strike team on board to deliver a broad-spectrum spatial pulse at point-blank range." Over the next 4 hours, the boarding party, pilots trained in zero-G operations and engineers briefed on alien architecture, suited up. Marcus stayed behind in the command center, guiding his former crewmates through the interface charts that now made sense only to him. As the interceptor ship carrying Lisa and her team launched toward the Horizon, she caught a final glimpse of Marcus on the big screen. His expression was resolute, bearing both the hope of the architects and the will of humanity. Docking at the Horizon, the team moved swiftly to the core chamber. The crystalline engine thrummed as if alive, blue tendrils of energy weaving around its structure. Lisa turned to Jones, the senior pilot. "Are you set?" He offered a tight nod. "Let's give them a world they can't ignore." At Marcus's direction, the engineers activated the emitter arrays. The chamber glowed, and the Horizon itself resonated. Lisa issued the command, "Now." A beam of condensed spatial energy shot forth through the hull plating, arcing toward the dark shape of the Harvester Scout in low orbit. On every monitor back at Earth Command, the ship's silhouette shimmered, then convulsed as if caught in an invisible net. For a heartbeat, the Scout flickered between existence and nothingness, its red-black surface distorting into ghostly translucence. Then, as Earth's moon drifted past, the ship, now wounded and reeling, vanished from radar, retreating at unimaginable speed. Cheers erupted in the command center, but Lisa barely heard them. She stared at the viewport of her shuttle, tears blurring the blue-black swirl of space. Marcus's voice came over the comm, "You've proven yourselves. Now prepare, I've transmitted the blueprints. Humanity's defense begins today." As the shuttle banked back toward Earth, Lisa allowed herself a single, hopeful smile. The architects had chosen wisely, and now, armed with their legacy, humanity would stand ready for whatever came next. Day 3 began before dawn. Across the globe, secret research facilities and shipyards buzzed with frantic activity. In Tokyo, Oslo, Cape Town, and Brasilia, engineers pored over alien blueprints, circling specifications for full-drive reactors, spatial emitters, and phasing shields. Military officers reviewed plans to convert cargo vessels into makeshift carrier platforms, humanity's first line of defense against the Harvester onslaught. At Space Command headquarters, Lisa Wilson arrived at 0400, clutching a mug of bitter coffee. The situation briefing was already in progress. A holomap of nearby star systems rotated above the table, dotted with projected Harvester flight paths. Admiral Thomas stood at the head, flanked by representatives from every major nation. Admiral Thomas cleared his throat. "Status on reconstruction." Dr. Reed, wearing a portable holodisplay wristband, tapped a prompt. Prototype Horizon-class reactor cores have been successfully assembled at 5 locations. Initial tests indicate we can achieve stable fold jumps, though only at reduced power. He flicked his wrist, schematics of a half-built vessel shimmered in midair. Our first 10 vessels will launch within 72 hours. A murmur of relief swept the room, but Lisa raised a hand. "And combat readiness?" General Malik of the United Earth Defense Force answered. "Training teams are working with Marcus's code. We've run simulations, pilots can handle spatial pulses, but integration with the new systems is tricky. We need more practice." Marcus, seated nearby, nodded. His calm presence cut through the tension. Human reflexes adapt quickly. Give them a day in zero-G simulators, then live drills in modified interceptors. They'll be ready. Lisa caught his eye. There was still something unsettling in the way he spoke, more guide than man, but his assurances carried weight. She turned back to the Admiral. Then let's get moving. Every hour counts. Meanwhile, on the horizon itself, Lisa and her strike team prepared for another sortie. The ship's corridors still bore the glow of the alien vines, now humming gently with integrated reactors. In the core chamber, engineers checked coal-sized emitter nodes, while pilots strapped into the newly fitted full-jump pods. Jones approached Lisa, adjusting a pressure valve on his flight suit. Ready for round 2? She offered him a tight grin. We've got to be. She paused, glancing at the crystal drive. And this time, we go to them. Back in Earth orbit, the Harvester Scout ship had retreated to a staging point outside geosynchronous orbit. Sensor sweeps detected it cloaked behind an unstable spatial eddy, likely part of its evasion tactic. But now the Horizon's refitted launch bay housed 6 rapid deployment pods, each armed with phase pulse emitters tuned to the Scout's vulnerabilities. As Lisa and the pilots donned their helmets, Marcus joined them on the bay deck, his uniform immaculate, his gaze steady but distant. Commander, he said, I've calibrated the pods to synchronize with your neural inputs. You'll hear my guidance in your comm channels. Lisa swallowed. Just, talk me through it, Marcus. He placed a steady hand on her shoulder. For a moment, the haunted eyes she remembered flickered with warmth. You will do fine. You're not alone. The pod sealed. With a soft hiss, they were jettisoned from the horizon and plunged toward the Harvester Scout's position. Lisa's viewports turned into streaks of blue-white as the full drive engaged, and in seconds, they emerged near the enemy vessel. The ship loomed before them, tentacled arms drifting like cosmic serpents. Their approach vectors were calculated to present only the smallest cross-section. Marcus's voice crackled in the comm, phase pulse emitters at maximum. On my mark, 3, 2, 1, fire. Lisa gripped the controls and pushed the activator. A converging wave of blue energy surged outward, snapping against the Scout's hull. The vessel trembled, its tentacles quivering as localized reality twisted around the impact zone. The Scout's defense pulses fought back, but with less coordination than before. Direct hit. Jones whooped over the comm, hull breach forming. Maintain distance. Lisa ordered. We can't get too close. One by one, each pod released its burst. The Scout reeled under the synchronized assault, its cloaking eddy faltering. Then, just as quickly, it collapsed in on itself like a dying star, imploding through the phase rift it had created. Space fluttered, and the vessel winked out of existence. Back on the horizon, the pods folded back in, and the crew cheered. Lisa exhaled, heart pounding. Excellent work, Marcus said, voice tinged with pride. Now we've shown them we can strike first. Late that afternoon, an emergency UN Security Council session convened in New York City. World leaders watched live feeds of the Horizon's victory and of shipyards churning out new vessels. Hope glimmered through the fear. In a secluded annex, Lisa, Marcus, Admiral Thomas, and representatives from Earth's governments met to draft a United Defense Charter. The document would pool resources, coordinate research, and share command of the new fleet of the Horizon. It was humanity's first truly global military alliance. As discussions dragged into the night, Marcus stepped aside with Lisa. They found themselves on a viewing balcony overlooking the East River, the skyline ablaze with floodlit shipyards. You did good today, Lisa said quietly. He studied her. We did good. Humanity showed its spirit. She searched his face. Marcus, what are you now? Because I'm not sure I'm talking to the same person who left Earth. He gave her a small, sad smile. I am both the man you knew and the vessel for the architect's legacy. They live within me, sharing their knowledge. But I remain. Marcus Davis. Lisa placed a hand on the railing. What happens when your body fails? You said the integration is unpredictable. Marcus's expression grew distant again. I don't know. But they gave me a gift, and I will use it as long as I can. After that, I can only hope you will continue without me. She swallowed hard, imagining a world without Marcus's guidance. We will. But I don't want to face that alone. He met her gaze, blue light glimmering within. You won't. The architects foresaw this moment. They believed humanity could learn, adapt, and prevail. You've proven them right. Below, the river's surface shimmered beneath the city lights. Lisa took a deep breath and nodded. Then let's finish what we started. For Earth, and for all who thought humanity was too primitive to matter. They stood in silence, two figures united by fate and by the promise of a future forged between stars, and by the knowledge that, in just days, the real war would arrive. And they would be ready. Day 4 broke to sirens and rolling thunder, Earth's New Horizon fleet gathering in high orbit, 80 vessels strong. From the command decks of the flagship Horizon to rifled gunports of hastily refitted cargo carriers, humanity's war machine prepared for its first full-scale engagement. 0600 hours, Space Command, Admiral Thomas paced before a hollow projection displaying the Harvester scouting reports. Dozens of crimson dots trailed through the outer system, converging on Earth. They're coming in force, he said. Estimated time to arrival, 18 hours. He turned to Lisa and Marcus. Your team has one shot to intercept the vanguard. We lose that window, we lose the element of surprise. 0800 hours, Horizon's bridge, Lisa stood at the helm, flanked by Marcus and Lieutenant Chen, the squadron leader. Pilots lined the viewport in their pods, engines humming with the alien full-drive reactors. Marcus activated his comm link. Remember, target their phase shields, not the hull. Disrupt their spatial coherence, then break their formation. His voice carried both human urgency and an otherworldly calm. 0900 hours, launch bay, 30 intercept pods slid free, streaking toward the incoming Harvester fleet. Through the viewport, Lisa watched the alien armada materialize, hundreds of tentacle dreadnoughts, each the size of skyscrapers, their black-red hulls shimmering with malevolent intent. Stay sharp, she ordered. 0915 hours, engagement zone, the first wave of pods swooped in, trailing coils of blue-white energy. Under Marcus's guidance, the emitters unleashed synchronized spatial pulses that shattered the nearest Harvester shields. Dreadnoughts convulsed as pockets of reality folded inward, their war tentacles fragmenting into ribbons of unstable energy. But the Harvesters retaliated with swarms of fighter tendrils, small, agile craft that darted through the pod formations. Lisa banked her pod hard, evading a net of crimson beams, and triggered her emitter. The local space around the enemy vessel rippled, and the fighter tendrils collapsed mid-flight. Support on my left, she called. 2 pods fired in unison, sending the dreadnought reeling, its hull cracking under the strain of out-of-phase dimensions. 1000 hours, Tactical HQ, Dr. Reed and his team monitored the battle. We're causing cascading failures in their fleet's coherence matrix, he reported. But they're adapting their spatial algorithms. On the hollow projection, several dreadnoughts flickered back from the phasing rifts, reasserting solidity and returning fire with nova-scale particle bursts. 1015 hours, Horizon's bridge, a warning klaxon sounded, dreadnoughts had broken through the pod screen and surrounded the Horizon itself. Lisa's heart pounded. She turned to Marcus. They're on top of us. He didn't flinch. Activate the core emitter array. At his signal, the crystalline drive chamber surged. The Horizon's hull vines lit up like a constellation, channeling raw spatial energy. Outside, the dreadnoughts converged, preparing to deliver a deathblow. Then, at Marcus's command, the entire ship pulsed. Reality folded in a violent sweep, and the enemy vessels were caught in the wave. On every screen back at Earth, the armada dissolved, ships imploded in spiral eddies of light, then vanished. In the cold aftermath, only emptiness remained where the harvesters had been. Silence. Then eruptions of cheers, tears, and relief. Lisa exhaled, her voice hoarse. They're gone. Marcus leaned against the console, exhaustion flickering across his face. For now, he said quietly. But the harvesters won't forget, they'll return stronger. Lisa placed a hand on his arm. And so will we. We've learned from the architects. We'll be ready. Above them, the night sky gleamed, Earth defended, humanity united, and the silent promise of new horizons waiting beyond the stars.